Hello and welcome to Ewe Sew You. My name's Zoe and this is my channel where I share all of the crafty bits and pieces that I get up to. I knit, I sew, I crochet, I weave and all sorts of other bits and pieces from time to time. So grab a brew, pick up your needles and let's get started. So welcome to a very special edition on the Ewe Sew You channel. A year ago today I uploaded my very first Ewe Sew You video, so today is our first birthday. Should I have got cake? Probably should have got cake. Oh well, never mind. Welcome back to any returning viewers. Thank you for being with me for the past 12 months, and to any new viewers, a very warm welcome to you as well. By all means feel free to look back at some of the videos that have gone before. I haven't been numbering the podcasty updatey type videos like some channels do, but you will find separate playlists for where I've done spindle spinning tutorials and that kind of thing. So yeah, have a look around, stick around if you like, and obviously like and subscribe down below and ding that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. Today is Bank Holiday Monday, the 26th of August. It is frightfully hot for the UK when you don't live in a country that really does air conditioning. So I do have the window open in my little craft room that is still pretty much a box room, but will eventually be gloriously craftified. So hopefully there won't be too many noises in the background distracting you. Currently about 4:10 in the afternoon, so we're way too early for the jackdaws because my word are they noisy. Let's get started with, well, I'm not wearing any knitwear or crafted stuff today, too hot for that, but let's get started with finished objects. I do have one finished item for you, and it's one that you will have seen before because it has been going on for ages. Many of my projects, my works in progress, are still in ebooks. I've been taking them out one at a time to try and crack through a few of them, and also because I don't have the storage space yet in the new house. We haven't bought storage furniture and that kind of thing because we've been exploring the area and having house guests and that kind of thing. But I have managed to finish one project. I've managed to finish my crocheted shawl. It's Tunisian crochet. It's the Fionnuala pattern by Ewe Sew. I will put the details down below for you. It's a relatively short shawl, more of a shawlette really than a shawl, but I have plenty of deep shawl, so I opted in the end to leave it as written size-wise. If you remember from a few weeks ago, I was talking about potentially putting another band on top to make it a bit deeper. Which is a possibility. It's easy enough to do, or adding in more wedges, that kind of thing. So I've used many colours. All of the yarn details are on my project page, which I will link down below. This is the only skein of yarn that I bought, and it's in the Peridot colourway. Name of the brand escapes me for the moment, but hey. And the solid tonally type colours, whereas it's a set of minis from Manos del Uruguay, and this one here, this stripy one, was a sock yarn from Dina's Home of Craft. As I say, I will have all the details on my project page on Ravelry, which will be linked down below. And yeah, it's a short shawl, more sort of scarfy, but it does still wrap around quite well. It's going to sit inside coats quite nicely come the autumn without being too warm for those days. I mean, it's too warm for today, but we are sort of upper 20s, possibly lower 30s Celsius. I don't do Fahrenheit, sorry. But it is also good enough, deep enough to sort of sit on my shoulders of a summer or a spring evening out in the garden. Now that we have one, freshly mown as well, mowed the lawn yesterday. That's more of an achievement than it sounds, because having not had a garden previously, we don't own a mower. So I've actually had to borrow one from my dad and my stepmum, so that's gone back to them today so they can do their lawn. So there we go, finished object. Woohoo, off the hook. It is my only finished object. Because as I say, I am taking projects out one at a time from my whip box rather than unpacking the lot, whilst we still get systems organised in the new home. And we've had house guests, our house brother came to visit, but I've also been swatching like a mad thing. I've swatched for my work in progress I'm going to show you in a minute, because of course when you're trying to finish all your whips, what do? You cast on something new, obviously. To be fair, it is my Smile 2019 project, so it is something that had started the process off already, so I guess it was kind of already a work in progress. I've also swatched for a couple of design ideas, one cowl, one sweater that I'm not going to show you, but I am going to show you this little swatch. It's not technically a finished project, but it is a new to me technique. So you've got colour work on the front. On the back we have no colour work. We also have a standard stripe. I'll that to the camera on my laptop. If you see me looking down, it's because my laptop is in front of the phone that I'm recording on, so I can see what you're seeing. So we've got normal single row stripes here. I didn't do jogless join on these, but if I was to continue doing simply two colour stripes, so just the grey and the blue or the yellow and the blue, that would work fine. The jogless join helical knitting that Grace of Babbles Travelling Yarns gave a tutorial on. But I've also done 3 colour helical knitting here, which is a different process. It does eliminate the jog, but it doesn't work in quite the same way as the 2 colour one. But that's not the exciting bit of this swatch. You see in the front we've got the colour work, and on the back we've got no colour work. But this was knitted in the round. And that's a mighty long way to carry a float. So I've actually used a different technique. I had to turn my swatch inside out. I've used ladder back jacquard for the colour work. Now this is going to be developed into a series of tutorial videos, which will end up with some sort of project that the people who knit along with me during the tutorials will get to produce as part of it. So keep an eye out for that. That should be coming out fairly shortly, because some of the techniques in this will be needed for one of the designs that I've got in mind. When I do the tutorial series for this, it will come with a free pattern. Not that I've written that yet, but it's on its way. It's all up here at the moment. Just need to get it onto the needles and written out for you guys, and filmed, and all that kind of thing. The next thing I'm going to show you is a work in progress. As I said, I did cast on something new. I cast it on yesterday, and it's my Smile 2019 project. For those of you that are unfamiliar, Mina Phillip, the knitting expat, and Grace of Babbles Travelling Yarns are hosting a spin and make along, which is a 3-month-ish spinning segment followed by a 3-month-ish knitting segment, and then they went sod it, cast on when you're done. The spinning portion is over. It ended at the same time as Tour de Fleece ended, and I managed to spin up over a sweater's quantity of yarn on my drop spindle, so I'm really pleased with that. And I actually picked a pattern to cast on with my hand spun. Now when I ordered my fibre, I ordered St Osgith, which I will put up here, and I ordered Mary Shelley, which I will also put up here. I had the intention at this point to spin them up to knit a Zweig by Caitlin Hunter, which is this pattern here. Loads of people have already knitted it. I am intending on knitting it. I think it's a great pattern. I think I would get a lot of wear out of it, but I didn't get enough yardage of those fibres to knit that sweater. I did, however, spin up some glitter ball from Barn to Yarn, which gave me plenty of yardage for a contrast colour. And I worked out I had enough for a sort of Dottner crop with all the different colours that I'd spun up. I had enough of the St Osgith for a Tegna, I'll be putting up these patterns here so you can see them by the way. And I also had enough spun up for a Maritimo. I didn't already have the Soldotna or the Maritimo pattern, so I discarded those two. So then we're down to the Tena, and one other pattern that I had in my library on Ravelry that I did have enough yarn for, which is the Sipilla, which is this one. A bit of a Caitlin Hunter theme to my plans for this handspun, to be honest. So I've opted for the Sipilla. I am currently working towards the short sleeve version, but it's more cropped, because I think I would like the fit, with it being such a loose fitting sweater, of a more cropped length. Just a couple of inches shorter, so it's more to my natural waist rather than the high hip, like it is in the pattern. So it'll still sort of meet the tops of my jeans and shorts and that kind of thing. But I'm relatively short in the body, so I don't think I need as many inches below the separating for the sleeves. Once I've knit it to the length that I'm happy with, I will then see if I can work out if I've got enough to do the long sleeves or 3/4 sleeves perhaps instead of the short sleeves. But at the moment I'm working towards a short sleeve version of this sweater, which is included in the pattern, so I'm not sort of reinventing the wheel or anything. Now I really wanted to use the Mary Shelley with the St Osgith, but there wasn't enough Mary Shelley yardage for to use it as the sole contrast colour. There was enough of the glitter ball, however. The glitter ball has spun up like this, and St Osgith spun up like this. I don't have the Mary Shelley to hand in cake form, but I do have the beginnings of my Sipilla sweater. So I've used my Mary Shelley for the neckline. So we've got a rolled neckline. Now the Mary Shelley is a much denser spin than the St Osgith ended up being. It's just because I was getting better at spinning and better at drafting. So the St Osgith and the glitter ball are a much drapier yarn, so I got more yardage out of those. Particularly the glitter ball, actually, it's the most yardage I've ever got. So I've started with the Mary Shelley, and then I've gone into the St Osgith, and I've just started introducing the glitter ball there. The plan is to also use Mary Shelley for the cuffs, when I get that far. So far so good. It's just a little baby yoke at the minute. So yeah, I am currently doing the colour work on 4mm needles, I believe. Most of it I'm knitting on 3.5, so there's a lot of structure in the Mary Shelley section because it's a denser yarn, and I've used the smaller needles to get the gauge. So the neckline's going to be quite structured, and then the rest should sort of drape quite nicely down off it. And then the same on the sleeves. It'll be quite drapey until the cuff, and then a bit more structured for the rolled hem on the cuffs. So yeah, so I'm doing the colour work on 4mm needles, and the rest of it on 3.5mm needles. These are Knit Picks interchangeables, which is what I largely use most of the time these days. Socks I tend to use my higher sharps, mainly because that's what I've got in interchangeable needles. I do have cheapy ponies and inherited needles and all sorts, but they're straight needles mostly. I've got some pony circulars as well, but they're old, they're not the best, so I use them sparingly. So that's my work in progress. So that's all the sort of stuff that I'm making and doing at the minute to show you, because as I say, box downstairs, but it's in progress. Don't know why I'm looking out the window, can't see the road from where I am. But something exciting was happening going past. So yeah, so I'm taking out one project at a time, trying to reduce down the number of works in progress that I've got so that I can sort of start fresh once I get everything organised. However, I did have a bit of exciting post come through, surprisingly quickly as well actually. Some post from the United States of America that arrived in about a week. In fact, it might have been slightly less than a week. Normally it takes about 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that for things to arrive from the States. So I was very, very excited. But I was excited before it even came because As part of Tour de Fleece, those of you who are watching for a while will know that I joined many teams, all the teams, oodles of hashtags on my Tour de Fleece Instagram posts. But one of the teams, Team Babbling Pearls, which was co-hosted by Grace of Babbles Travelling Yarns and Jade of So Perfect Pearls, on that team I was actually fortunate enough to win one of the prizes. Now, I don't really win much, ever, in anything. So just to have my name pulled out was really exciting. But what I've actually won, I'm going to show you the ball band first, is from Kim Dye's Yarn. And here's a braid of fibre that is rather fabulous. So I just grab it here. What is this? Squishy gorgeousness. We've got silvery greys, we've got pinks and greens and blues and purples, and it's absolutely wonderful. And what is even more exciting is when you look at the fibre blend for this particular braid. I haven't decided how I'm going to spin it up yet, but I know I need to spin it up in a way that's going to preserve the softness of it, because it is 80% superwash merino, 10% stellina and 10% cashmere. I'm going to spin some cashmere. I'm going to sit and coo at it for a while until I work out how I want to spin it, but that's very, very exciting. Okay, so that's my acquisitions, my works in progress, my finished objects. Short and sweet today. However, I did put a post up on Instagram earlier on today with an Ask Me Anything. I only really thought about it this morning, so if you haven't had a chance to respond to that in my stories, by all means do. Pop a message through and I will answer it in a forthcoming video. I did have a question come through from Gemma of the Project Bag. I'm just going to open up Instagram to read it out properly. Gemma is a wonderful maker and podcaster, so if you haven't watched her podcast yet, by all means do. She has asked me what my favourite thing that I've shown or discussed is. Now, that's a really tough question. I love my throwback sweater. I get a lot of wear out of my throwback sweater, which I've shown very early on. It's the one I'm wearing in my profile picture for the channel. I love all the spinning that I've done. Obviously, that prize from Tour de Fleece is really exciting, so I'm really pleased about that. But I think the proudest, most exciting, happiest thing I've shared with you guys is my first ever design. And there will be more designs coming. I've got several in the works at the minute. But the Mother's Love Cowl, which I will pop up here, that I released at Easter, well, around about Easter time, at Mother's Day in the UK, which was back in March, I kind of did to prove to myself that I could write a knitting pattern. And those of you that have knit it up have given me great feedback and seem to be really pleased with it. So I'm actually dead chuffed with that. It's given me the confidence to branch out and to design more things. So yeah, keep an eye out for more patterns. I've already given you some clues as to what's coming up next. I'm hoping towards the autumn into winter time to start releasing things a little bit more regularly. So yeah, that's on its way. The other thing that I've been getting asked about recently is actually about where I've moved to. Obviously I was living in the Buckinghamshire countryside, and we've moved to a different county where the rents are a little bit lower, so you get more space for your money. I mean, that's not entirely why we moved. It was definitely a key factor, but it's not entirely why we moved. We've also moved for my other half's work and to be closer to my dad and his wife, and an easy journey to my mum as well, and my brother. So there's loads of reasons why we moved. We've actually moved to Lincolnshire. So to give you an idea of where I live, I've actually been out and got some footage of the local area. I actually live in the town where Sir Isaac Newton went to school, not far from Woolthorpe Manor where he grew up. I haven't been out there yet, but I have been over to the local National Trust property, which is pretty much next door to where I live, and is where those of you that were in the UK in the 80s may remember a series called Moondal on the BBC. It's where that was filmed. And some of the interiors were Darcy's house in Pride and Prejudice. So I'm going to finish off by just giving you a bit of a tour through video and photo and what have you of my local area. So follow me on Instagram where I am Ewe Sew You. as of today. I've just changed the handle there. I'm on Ravelry as Zosie M, but I have the Ewe Sew You design pattern store, and I have the Ewe Sew You groups. If you search on the groups tab on Ravelry, feel free to hop along and join that group, because then we can start having knit alongs and crochet alongs and spin alongs and all that sort of good stuff. I also have my pattern available on Lovecraft, and I have a blog over at ewesewyou.com. Ask me anything down below to answer next time, or over on Instagram in my stories there. I'll even put an Ask Me Anything thread up in the Ravelry group, so pop along and join there to ask me good stuff there as well. And that's all I have for you today, apart from obviously the clips of my local area, which are just coming up. So until next time, bye bye for now.